Okay. This meeting is being recorded for our public records and will be posted on the Arlington County Commission Meetings YouTube page. Avoid sharing any personal information that you may not like to be made public.
Done? Cody.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Welcome, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order on behalf of Caroline, since she is not speaking that well this evening. The time is 1:08. Thank you. Tonight, we are fortunate enough to have a guest presenter with us, Jane Pitt, who is the founder and board chair at the National Center of Women's Innovations. Before we turn things over to her, though, do we have any guests with us tonight where we should do some introductions? No? I do. Oh, Dr. Jamie Beasley.
Hi, ladies. Yes, I'm obviously new. I'm actually new to the Arlington area. I've been here about a year and like 2 months. I moved here from Atlanta. I moved to work, and so I was pretty active in Atlanta with local politics. A lot of work in the Atlanta University Center in the city of Atlanta. So I'm looking to equally be involved here. So this is my first meeting. Just trying to, feel around and see, I guess, like what's the best fit and how I can get involved. So I just decided to start here. I'm excited to hear what everyone has to say tonight.
Well, welcome. We're pleased to have you this evening. Since we do have a guest, if we could go around the room and everybody just introduce yourself with your name, how long you've been on the commission, and is it that you live in Arlington or work in Arlington? Let's start with our virtual participants. Jinder, you're next.
Hi, I'm Jinder. I've been in Arlington over 30 years. I've been on the commission, I think about almost 2 years. And you should definitely plan on attending the Arlington County Fair if you haven't already gone in the prior year.
Thanks. Jax, you want to go next?
Yes, hi everyone, and welcome, Jane. I am Jax. I have been serving on the commission also for a little over 2 years. It's hard to count, it's having fun. Time flies when you're having fun. But I work in Arlington County. I formerly lived in Arlington County. Fun fact about me is that I have 2 bunnies, and I would be volunteering at the Arlington County Fair as well. So I highly suggest that event. It's a great way to get to know us and what we do and what we're passionate about.
Great, thanks. Barbara?
Hi, my name's Arbra. Good to see you all. Let's see, I've been on the commission 7 years, I think. And I really am passionate about empowering women and gender equity. And this commission has been a wonderful way to connect with other like-minded folks and push for small concrete changes where we live, and just be part of the broader fight for gender equity. So we're very excited to have people join us. And yeah, I unfortunately won't be here for the fair this year. I will be dropping a kid off at college out of state, but you should participate in the fair. It's a wonderful way to jump in with feet first. All right.
Thanks, Arbra. Helen? Frozen. Mm-hmm. She looks good frozen. Please only like 2, sure. Helen, we can come back to you if you can hear us, but it appears that you are frozen. Okay, Janine?
Hello, everyone. Janine Finch. I have been on the commission for 3 or 4 years. I've lost count. But I live in Arlington in the Green Valley neighborhood, and so excited to have guests today.
Hi, I'm Grace Freeman. I've been living in Arlington for just over a year, and I joined the commission about 6 months ago.
Hi, I'm Susan, and I've been on the commission about 2 years. And welcome, Jane. It's great to have you and Jane join us this evening. It's wonderful to have a whole breadth of different topics, see where we can make some influence. Thanks.
Lisa?
Hi, everyone. My name's Lisa Marcellus. I moved to Arlington about 4 years ago and have been on the commission for 7, 8 months, I think. I'm excited for our guest speaker today. So
Great. Caroline?
Hi, Jamie. I'm Caroline Romano. I've been on the commission since Jesus, and 2009 actually is when I moved to Arlington. So that's about the time that I joined the commission. Incidentally, I moved to DC for work also in 2003, and I relocated from Atlanta. I was only there for a year, but I'm from Georgia. I grew up in Augusta, went to school at Mercer for law school. So I'm sure you miss the Deep South as much as I do, but this is a friendly place to be. I found it to be home, so I don't pine away for the ATL as much as I used to. So thanks for joining us. I'm glad to see a fellow Southerner. I think you'll find yourself at home here, and I'm happy to answer any questions about, where we get bull peanuts and those kind of things. I can let you know.
Jamie, welcome. I'm Marguerite Luter. I am the vice chair of the commission. Serving Caroline is always a pleasure because you just never know what to expect. I've been on the commission as long as she has, so that means since dirt. And I think that we do some wonderful things, but then again, I'm very biased. The county fair is a great way to get involved. So at minimum, you should come by and visit with us at the fair. If not, raising your hand, volunteering to help staff the tables. Although you might find it difficult to tell them what we do since this is your first meeting, but we'll find something to involve you. The county fair is just great. We do some other great things during the course of the year, and perhaps some of those will come out during tonight's discussion, but welcome. And I've been in Arlington actually a little longer than Ginger, but I guess I'd be dating myself unless I say maybe I moved when I was in kindergarten or something. People that know I'm from Philadelphia, that's not true. Okay, Courtney?
Courtney Sells, staff liaison to the Commission on the Status of Women. So I'm an Arlington County employee.
So welcome. And with that, I'm going to turn things over to our wonderful guest speaker, Jane Pitt. If I got it right, you're founder and board chair at the National Center of Women's Innovations.
Yes, and my last name is Pitt with an L.
Oh, so sorry.
But as Shakespeare says, a rose is a rose is a rose.
Oh, there you go.
We'll respond to anything, and I'm absolutely delighted to be here among women who care about the issue of empowering women, which is exactly what the National Center of Women's Innovations is all about. And we are, we started in Alexandria, but we are at this point a nationwide effort, and definitely am hoping that our neighbor Arlington can help us join forces. So let me just tell you a little more about, we can advance. And what we're all about is showcasing the achievements. If you'll go to the next one, showcasing the achievements.
You want the keyboard?
Yeah, that would be great
Just hit-
if I
yeah.
could. Yeah, thank you. I have the king's keys to the kingdom now. And what we're trying to do is mainstream the recognition of women innovators, distinctive from simply being concerned about women who were the first. So Secretary of State Albright, the fact that she was the first female Secretary of State, very significant, quite wonderful. But we are not focusing in on someone like Secretary of State Albright. What we're trying to make sure the world knows, and especially youngsters, is that the women who literally have physically changed the world in one way or another and in all sectors. So we want to showcase and promote those achievements of the women from yesterday, contemporary, and inspire tomorrow's women innovators through high-tech educational platforms that are going to inspire them and, most important, fill workplace needs that right now are facing enormous challenges and underrepresentation of women. So we offer exhibits, programs, and searchable data files that we hope will delight and inspire. And our vision is that there will be a world in which women's inventions receive mainstream recognition and that offer critical education to all students and inventors and scholars and businesses worldwide so that we can build on their achievements. Ginny Rometty was the first female CEO of IBM, and she, I think, put it quite clearly when she said, "We can't be it unless we see it." And that's exactly what has happened. Most of our history books, most of what is studied, taught, does not speak to the fact that women are responsible for GPS, for Wi-Fi, for stem cell isolation, for video home security systems, for duct tape, modern retail franchising, windshield wipers, mechanical dishwashers, and rear view mirrors, to name just a few. And one of the sheets that you have on the back has about 40 examples. And that is just a microcosm of the thousands of day-to-day mechanisms that we all depend on that are female based. So let me introduce you to Dr. Gladys West. Dr. West is the enabler of GPS. And I relocated to Virginia about 4 years ago. And I wouldn't have been here without GPS. And I wouldn't be able to go home without GPS. But the private sector is now so dependent on GPS that there isn't an area of operation that, whether it is the delivery of our food, whether it's the delivery of product, that uses GPS. And it was this daughter of a sharecropper. She grew up in Southern Virginia. Her parents were poor, loving, but Gladys decided that she didn't like getting her hands dirty. And she was determined that she had to find a different future. And at the time, she was born in the 1930s, she was raised in clearly a segregated Virginia, went to a Black segregated school, and her teachers recognized that she was bright. And they said, you know, there's a scholarship for valedictorians and salutatorians in high school, and maybe you might be that. Well, she was certainly determined, and as is typical of Dr. West, when she puts her mind to it, she can accomplish anything. And she became the valedictorian, but her teachers had wisely encouraged her to specialize in math. She was very bright. She succeeded in everything. And they said, you know, being a Black math teacher will assure you will always have a job. So Dr. West went to Virginia State, a historically Black college here, and she needed more money than that scholarship allowed. And she happened to take a job working for the two Hunter professors, one who is a professor of mathematics and another who was professor of physics. And she took care of the children, and it provided for her room and board. They became her mentors, particularly Dr. Hunter. And Dr. Hunter was the first Black woman to graduate with a PhD from the University of Virginia. So they're encouraging Dr. West that she can succeed and that education is key. So she starts teaching math, and they're saying, yeah, you really need a master's. So she comes back and she gets a master's at Virginia State. And then she goes back to teaching math in segregated schools. But she noticed that there was a job being advertised at the Dahlgren Naval Testing Site. So she put in an application. This is the 1950s, around 1955. And she receives a letter from the white manager, who at the time was determined to break open the color barrier. And he had already hired 3 Black professionals. And he offers her an opportunity for an interview. And what do you think she did?
Job.
No, she turned it down. She turned down the interview. She didn't think it was worth the gas money, because she would have had to give up eating for a week to pay for the gas. And she thought the likelihood that she would get that job was so small that she'd rather eat. But this wonderful manager, he decided to hire her in spite of no interview. So she became the 4th African-American professional hired at Dahlgren, and she joined the calculating area. And many of us know about the Hidden Stories women, and they worked for NASA. And Dr. West was very similar, only she's working now for the Navy. And she's calculating, and she's calculating. And she is given the assignment, once there were satellites, to try to measure the Earth. Because from a military point of view and a strategic view, it is really very valuable. Dr. West, in essence, and I am the least technical person around, what she discovered was that the world is not a perfect globe, but that it's a geoid, because there are mountains and there is water body and the like. So precisely mapping the world meant that she had to measure squishiness. Now that is my interpretation. She laughs when I describe it that way. But the point is, it took a whole lot of persistence in order for her to get it precisely. And she did. And because of her, we have GPS. However, she went unrecognized until she happened to be, and she goes on and she is determined to get her PhD because of the hunters. And she has several strokes, and she ends up retiring, but she still got her PhD at age 70 from Virginia Tech. And another indication of her persistence. Her story was just not known, but she happened to be an Alpha Kappa Alpha sorority sister. And at a Fredericksburg meeting of the chapter, they were sharing what their elder sorors had done. And one sorority sister, Gwen James, hears this story and says, "Soror West, this story has to be known. She says, do you think anybody would be interested?" She says, "Yeah, I do." So what Gwen James did was call the local Fredericksburg paper, and she shared it with her. And as a result, Dr. West was then inducted into the Air Force Pioneer Hall of Fame as the first African American. But most of us still don't know and didn't know that this petite African American woman, who is now almost 95, had changed the world. So the National Center of Women's Innovations, a not-for-profit, was determined that she was our poster innovator and that we had an obligation to use her and her story as an example of the phenomenal impact of women innovators. So we created this traveling exhibit. The woman depicted there in front of the exhibit is the Virginia Secretary of Commerce, who attended the March opening of the exhibit at Virginia Tech's Innovation Center here in Alexandria. And that exhibit physically documents the story that I've shared. We seized on this as an opportunity to make sure that young people knew about her story. And this is just one analysis. We brought in 61 third graders from an Alexandria public school. And at the start of the program, less than 30% had any interest in STEM, mathematics, or anything. At the end of a 75-minute presentation and program, over 80% were now interested in the field, and they were all committed to education and going to college. And the quote down below is a real quote. We asked every student to write what it meant to learn about Dr. West. And she wrote, "Knowing about Dr. West means I, as a Black girl, can change the world." We also then ran a poster contest for students to submit their what they thought was important about Dr. West. And you can see on the right, there was one picture, but two submissions are in-depth write-ups by these third graders about the impact of Dr. West. We're mighty excited about what we have been able to package. And as I was sharing with Susan earlier, I don't tend to cry easily, but seeing the reaction of these students, the tears were just coming down. To imagine that all of these students, boys and girls, are now determined, they know the key to success based on Dr. West. Persist and get educated. That story is moving on to Denver, Colorado. Should go back to it. The exhibit is moving on to Denver, but what we want to start is in classroom exposures here in Arlington, as well as out of Alexandria and throughout the country, because we have pictures of the exhibit. They don't have to physically see the exhibit in person. We can bring it to them, and we have these programs where they learn about geoids and the difference and the like. We believe in 75 minutes, they're going to get the same impact. They're going to be interested in STEM, and they're going to have learned that persistence and education are the key. So that's our focus, building off of Dr. West. Florence Lawrence is just another incredible story. She's a silent screen actress who liked cars and the turn of the 1900s. And she had many of them, and she invents the directional and brake signal that we use in our cars today. She purposely chose not to patent it. And when asked why, she said, why would you patent something that would help mankind? And of course, a year later, some men patented her idea. Based on Dr. West, based on Florence and 19 other women innovators, we created a whole pop-up campaign about women driving change, because your rear view mirror, your car heater, your steering wheel, our GPS, Wi-Fi are all part of women innovators. And the women depicted in the upper left-hand corner here is Christina Lamb. She's the first Asian American female race car driver in NASCAR's endurance program called IMSA. And she chose to put our logo both on her racing uniform. And if you look closely, you'll see me besides fingers up in Watkins Glen, but there is the NCWI on her vehicle. And we organized a program at the Watkins Glen Library and at the Watkins International Intermotor Research Racing Center in Watkins Glen to reach young people. And one young woman drove 3 hours just to be inspired by Christina. Those banners were and still are able to be exposed, the women driving change. This happens to be the Alexandria mayor, and the banner appeared along with 4 others depicting other women at City Hall. And we were able to help 10,000 Villages, which is a shop that's committed to fair trade, attract multiple $1,000s more because they announced that they would be supporting our organization. And we're very proud that it was just a win-win for what we do. Want to share another woman, Hedy Lamarr, beautiful actress. You may have seen her in the Portrait Gallery in DC, and if you did, it would tell you that she was a successful actress. She had escaped in World War II, and she fled a bad marriage. She was Austrian, and they would also repeat that she was very beautiful. Not once at the Portrait Gallery do they mention that she was brilliant. And because of her, we have Wi-Fi because she created the idea of and understood the idea that you could skip frequencies. She turned over her patent to the military in World War II, hoping they would use it to protect submarines. They didn't. And so it goes. Martha Matilda Harper is the reason the National Center of Women's Innovation was created and founded by me. Martha was a poor servant girl bound out from the time she was 7 as an indentured servant, and for the next 25 years, she remains a servant. However, she immigrates to Rochester, New York, on the occasion of her last Canadian employer dying, and he gives her a shampoo formula, and he had taught her about the importance of healthy hair care. She ends up coming to Rochester when Susan B. Anthony is there and talking about women's equality. Anthony becomes her customer as well as her supporter, and she opens the first retail franchise system in the world and has 500 shops, and her first 100 only go to poor women because she understood the power of business. So she also invents the reclining shampoo chair that most of us all use when we go to a beauty shop or a barber shop. And she also invents the cutout sink. But it took me 6 years to crisscross the United States and Canada, uncovering the varied story of Harper, because only former franchise owners and employees saved her artifacts. And I'm happy to report that they are now at the Rochester Museum and Science Center, but it reflected how determined one had to be, and that's me, to uncover it, and that we've got tens of thousands of similar stories. And that what really needs to happen is that we all should be able to identify these women. Looking straight ahead in the second row next to Harper is Madam C.J. Walker, first Black female millionaire. And she was basically a sister in the cause of trying to empower poor sisters. Madam Walker was empowering poor Black women and Harper poor white women. But unlike others in the cosmetic industry, they're very focused on trying to uplift their sisters. But each of these women depicted, and many others, are women who have changed our world. So In 2 years, we have launched the Dr. Gladys West GPS STEM Challenge. We went into Washington, D.C. and used the Washington School for Girls as a beta site and continue to have evaluations of the impact of that program every year. The Dr. West Traveling Exhibit reached thousands and inspired young people, and as I mentioned, is heading to Denver. The Women Driving Change campaign, race car banners outreach, and we are in the process of building what we hope will be the most comprehensive searchable database file of all women innovators, linking them to whether there were Black women engineers, women in any field. And we are about to hire our first paid director. All of this has been accomplished with very passionate volunteers. So what can you do? Well, you can help fund our effort. You can donate individually, but as a group, you can become a program partner. We want to bring the Dr. Gladys West educational program into the Arlington schools. I was sharing with Susan at the Goodbye Salute 2 women attending are leaders in STEM education in Arlington, and they're very interested. And you can help recruit supporters, educators, you can spread the word, and you can volunteer. And I am totally open for any questions and any thoughts you might have.
Have you also approached the Arlington County Public Library?
No, nope, you're the first in Arlington.
We've got it on the ground floor.
Hi.
Hi there.
This is wonderful. Thank you so much for sharing this.
Congrats on how far
Yes.
you've already come.
Yes.
too.
Very exciting. Thank you. I'm like.
Like, what do we do first or next? Or
Yes.
Yeah.
So I want to pass around, these are cards that we created to help people when they saw the Women Driving Change. May is National Inventors Month. And while we certainly welcome focusing in on February and Black History and March on Women's History, frankly, while I welcome it, it also silos us. And I think May is just a terrific month to be really trying to capitalize next May. It's National Inventors Month, and we just want to be there. And we would love your help in speaking about and informing people about what extraordinary credit should be going to women that has been overlooked. Here's my last thing. What we know about getting people into STEM is that hands-on, 51%, we can get kids to have hands-on experience. 51% of those kids will be interested in STEM. If we can get them with the hands-on and the story, then we start nearing 80%. And that's what we believe in. You gotta have the storytelling. They gotta know about Dr. West. I mean, that story is just an amazing story.
Is the May National Innovators Month, is that gender specific or
No,
is that?
It isn't,
It's
which
just
is why
innovators.
it belongs to everyone.
Sure.
And that's part of what I like is I want to break out of our, okay, we'll pay attention in February to Black people, and then we'll pay attention to women in March. And we're all about mainstreaming this. This isn't just about, you can come out of your little cubicle in this. It's like, no, we belong in the mainstream. When you're recognizing inventors, recognize the women. And they're going to be of every Native American, Latina, Asian, Black, white, which is what's so fabulous. I mean, that is, brain power has no gender.
It's a good slogan. Did you ever consider making a video to take around with the exhibit?
There is a video with the exhibit. There's definitely a video, and you can download about Dr. West, and it's on YouTube. So anyone can download that video. And it's interviews with Dr. West, her daughter, the head of the Virginia Tech Innovation Center, sorority sisters, and the president of Virginia State, who says he has no sense of direction and is totally indebted to Dr. West.
You should consider talking to someone in the library system about featuring the exhibit in the library. They do lots of creative, interesting things at the library, but it would give you a lot of exposure.
Great. Maybe you can share. I don't know if you have a contact.
Barbara, are you still on? She is, she's on mute.
I know someone.
Barbara has contacts.
Great.
At the library from when we were doing our
Right.
50th anniversary celebration. We'll make sure to get you those.
Great. Any other questions? I will pass around my card so you can be in touch.
Well, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I'm from Rochester, so I grew up going to RMSC, and I had known of Harper Story, but I had no idea she had ties to Rochester and
yes.
like that. So that was really exciting to hear.
Yes, yes, indeed. Indeed. Well, Rochester is it's also home to Wegmans. Very practical here.
That's where you should get the exhibit.
Actually, I can tell you Wegmans has been an extraordinary supportive partner.
It's
So we're very grateful for Wegmans.
We tend to do tabling of our own information and other organizations' information at our county fair table. So may we take your extras? And
Oh, that would be great. That would be
We're happy to
terrific.
do that.
That would be great. And that's in August?
Yes. And the dates are, Jinder, what are the dates again? I don't have my calendar with me.
15th?
I think it's the 13th through the 17th, but the weekend, 15th.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday we'll be tabling.
So if you're open, we could also have the pop-up banner. It's very small. I mean, it pops up and it goes in a case a little bigger than this and very lightweight. And maybe I could get it to Susan and
Jinder and Arbor are our chairs. We
oh,
have a
okay.
meeting coming up at next week.
Next week, 17th,
Next week,
yeah.
17th, where we can make that decision.
Yeah, that would be great. That would just be wonderful. And it'd be terrific. And for those of you outside of Atlanta, Dr. Is it Beasley? Yes, Christina Lamb will be racing there in October in Atlanta. And in Indianapolis in September.
Margaret, did you find at the fair a lot of high school kids came?
It was a mixture of all populations. I
Yeah.
think we had people all ages
Right.
and, lots of parents, lots of
Yeah.
teens, so
Because that will
it's very
be
well
a
attended.
good
Yeah.
There's a lot of high schoolers outside.
Well,
I
then-
don't know that they're running to our booth.
They're looking for free things.
Yes,
That's right. That's right.
You know,
But they're parents.
they come by for
Right.
the giveaways,
Yeah.
including candy.
Yeah, and even if you're able to attend that weekend, there'll be booths set up from all different departments, including the library and the school system at the fair, just trying to share their information. So that might be a good networking opportunity for you.
That
Yeah,
would be lovely.
Actually, APS will have a booth of its own.
yeah, yeah.
So there's an opportunity to see if they'd be
That's
willing
great.
to share some of your information there too.
That is terrific. One of our giveaways is this sticky pad. And you will note at the bottom, there is the picture of Dr. West, of course. But it talks about stick to your dreams.
That's great.
That's great.
And the kids
cool.
just adored it. We're just very excited to excite them. That's what we believe is the future. If we can, both boys and girls, because if boys can learn and believe that girls have done these incredible things, then we believe they will have respect and be able to be partners in the workplace in a whole different way than when you think that only men are the innovators of the world.
Two other questions. Does your website show who you are already partnered with or
Yes,
what organizations you're connected with?
it does.
Because many of us are involved in lots of other different things, but it might be helpful to research that first before we start bombarding you with, have you thought about connecting with
That would be great.
this, that, and the other?
For example, we work very closely with AKA our first gala was when Dr. West was 93 years old, and she was our feature, and we were very fortunate that the international CEO and president of AKA came to the event. So they're not officially listed, but we have a strong working relationship with a number of the chapters, but not all of them. And they're just a powerful group. They are just amazing. And
The fact that you're connected with them, does that mean you have not approached the Deltas?
that is true. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't. Actually, yes. So
Actually, the Deltas and the Lynx.
yes,
Lynx, yeah.
and we just connected with the first Black female Air Force Colonel, Space Colonel Joan Thompson, and she is suggesting that she has links to the Jack and Jill group, which also sound really exciting. And there's just so much, and that's why, we're so excited to embrace it all, but we just need help to also carry it out.
Sure.
And
so that's kind of a lead into my second question. If anybody happens to be interested in volunteering in some way, do they contact you directly?
They do. They do. One-stop shop. I'll make sure you are tapped. So if you're interested in research, you're interested in, you have IT expertise, we have issues with the data file, and we're working right now with Virginia Tech to try to develop gaming that would intrigue youngsters to look into a data file. Because right now it's just a clunky Excel sheet. But I'm really honest. That's not, it's not ready for put. So we got to give it some razzle dazzle
Right.
to get young people especially interested in looking at it. So Virginia Tech Library folks are working with us with some student help there to test gaming. To get them to dig in, not that they really want to know, but they're intrigued, yeah.
I was just thinking, and maybe this wouldn't work because I know a lot of the examples that you gave, some of the women didn't patent their ideas. But what about, have you partnered with anybody? I don't know anybody, but have you partnered with anybody at the Patent and Trade Office in Alexandria?
We've tried.
Okay.
But they also are going through transition.
Yeah.
And they're looking for a home right now.
Okay.
From what I understand, they're being, the offices that are in Alexandria will be relocated to make way for HUD. In case you haven't caught up with
Yeah,
the
a lot of that goes-
domino that are falling.
Yeah.
Thing too. But
Yeah.
yes, we are trying. A lot of the women, as was true for a lot of the Latin and the African American, just didn't patent.
Yeah.
Jane, how about some of the museums, like the Women's Art Museum?
We haven't approached them. We have approached the American Women's History Museum, and there's the American Women's History, and then there's the Women's History Museum. And we are in alliance with the Women's History Museum. We're part of that group.
The one in Alexandria, based in Alexandria.
Yeah, they're not
Okay.
really based. They're in DC.
Okay.
But the American history is the one that's affiliated with the Smithsonian.
Mm-hmm.
I don't get why but we are at the moment. So we are talking with them and we're trying to work. There's 25 other groups that we've been in touch with. And what we're determined is we want to partner and we don't want to take over. So we want to be the centralized informational. You're looking for information, we do too. And then you connect. So we don't want to duplicate.
Right.
And Susan said, well, you're going to have, a museum and whatever. And at the moment, I think that's questionable. Or whether we're better just digitally and having our exhibits go out, whether we have a place. But to be determined by the boards as they evolve. It'll be long past my tenure as this is being debated again and again. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is fantastic.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
Any other questions?
The keys to the kingdom are.
Well, thank you so much.
Yes.
And our meetings are open, so you are certainly welcome to stay. But then again, we also appreciate that you have a lot going on. So if you'd like to also depart, that's fine.
Okay, well, I'd be glad to stay and
Yeah.
just listen in if that's okay.
Sure.
Exciting minute review.
Yeah.
How efficient.
Okay. For number 2, which is the review and annual concurrence or adoption of the updated electronic meeting policy, I would like to suggest, not as my role leading this meeting, I was going to do this anyway. I would like to suggest that because I doubt that anybody has read it or refreshed it in their memories recently, that we put that as a homework assignment and then vote in September. Does anybody else like that idea?
You already sent it to us.
She has not sent it a second time. She sent it the first time, which was last year.
Okay.
But I doubt anybody remembers it or where they filed it, so.
I sleep with it.
Are we?
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
So are you okay with that? Okay, so homework assignment, everybody please review it.
We're not voting any changes to.
We.
We're not authorized to change
We're
it.
being
Right,
recorded.
so-
Yeah, we're,
Yeah.
I was gonna say that differently.
The policy was updated, so it does have the, this is the updated
there is.
template, reflecting the camera and then also the core, so.
Yes.
Yeah, this is.
It just requires a renewal
Right.
vote every year, according to the county board, so. Now, if you have concerns after reviewing it, we are certainly able to talk about it and talk about what we might like to do with those, but as Janine put it, we are not authorized to make changes to it, so. Okay. All right. Moving right along then, meeting minutes. We have February minutes, which we all reviewed already. We talked about the February minutes because there was some question of attendance, and that got updated. So we should not have to have much discussion.
Come on. The February minutes are like. On our side that we carry our board meeting, I think.
But I was just gonna say, we should just be able to vote to approve those because the attendance record has been updated, right?
I second that.
Yeah.
Aye.
Okay. Anybody opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, then, the February minutes are done.
Wow. We can do every meeting
So
now.
we are now current, Courtney,
Have Jane keep
with our minutes. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but June, I mean, that's current. July, and we're doing
End of
June
February.
minutes. All right, June minutes. If you could take a minute and review those, check out your attendance and make sure that it's accurate. Then we'll have a couple of minutes of discussion before we take a vote to approve the minutes.
That's it on the screen.
Anybody have any questions? Anybody think the attendance is inaccurate? Certainly. Okay, is there a motion to approve the June minutes?
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
Is there a second?
Yes, yes.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? Great, the June minutes are approved. All right, looking right through this agenda. Okay, Project Peace Annual Report. I hope you have that because I do not know what that is.
I brought a handful of copies. Anybody wants to take a copy with them? I have not read it yet myself. Hot off the presses from Candace Lopez via email. I only emailed it to you and Courtney just for this meeting, along with the other stuff that was late, but, well, not late, but just in time, around time. If anybody wants a hard copy, you're welcome to take it. Otherwise, we will email it out to folks after this meeting. I think this is another item. Once we read it, we can probably pull some highlights for some of our materials and at least have, I think, a shout out to Project Peace in our talking points and summary materials that we use at the fair when we're tabling. I'm sure they'll be at the fair with us, and so we should be in contact with Ashley and Candace so that we can help amplify their message and vice versa, which could lead us into this pledge card talk. So again, I have 3 hard copies if anybody wants one, and we will send the link out after the meeting.
Okay, so action item is you're going to send the link or you want Courtney to send the link?
Courtney can do it.
Courtney, would you be able to do that for us?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so Courtney will send the link to everyone. Everybody that's volunteering at the county fair, please take it as an action item to read it before our special meeting for the county fair next week so that we can talk about what, if anything, we think we should do at the county fair. Is that reasonable?
And Ginger asked for the, I call them talking points. I don't really know what they were, that you were asking Arbor for, but it's the fact sheets and the materials and stuff that we usually have at the table for our volunteers. It's our blurbs about what we do. I say talking points, it's sort of crib sheets about different stuff, stats and facts, if you will, some other points and topics. So that you're not caught off guard or that you can find some niche thing that you want to talk about. I think Project Peace's work is something that we could or could not highlight, but I think we're talking about sexual and domestic violence. This is another sort of side story. I just also want to flag that we are, I don't know if the actual designation is for the leadership roundtable that Project Peace has monthly. For a long time, I attended those meetings. They were in person at the jail, not in the jail, at the jail. And I think now they're all virtual, but I can't say for sure. I know I'm not the only one who gets the invites, but I have not attended those meetings in some time. I have had regular contact with Ashley and Candace on matters, but I do think at our last meeting, we were talking about kind of our fall agenda, outreach and other items. And I think we want to probably reinvest in this relationship with Project Peace and one of us volunteer to attend that monthly meeting for the roundtable so that we do have some continuity with that group as well.
I believe you are the only one who has been getting the invitation to attend. Not that anybody else couldn't, but I don't recall anybody else signing up to get the invitations. So could we make the second action item? Everybody then needs to look at the annual report and decide if you would like to represent us at Project Peace's monthly leadership roundtables, so that we don't have to rely on just Caroline attending.
And not attending, right?
Or not attending. And since our next meeting is September, come back if you are interested in being that person. Please either send a note to Caroline and I, or at September's meeting, let us know that you'd like to be that representative.
And if I recall, the meeting's on like a Thursday morning, and I believe it was kind of before regular hours, so it was at like 8 a.m. Now that they had the virtual option, it may be adjusted, but I think it was a not too obtrusive.
Okay, so there's an action item now for everybody to read the annual report. Those on the planning committee for the county fair have to do it by our special meeting next week so that we can talk about what, if anything, we should include. And everybody else has to read it before the September meeting. Okay. While we're on Project Peace, I was going to do this in the open items, but since we're talking about Project Peace, for those of you who are at the Rally Against Rape, you will recall, or take back the night, you will recall seeing this at the Project Peace table. I forgot to bring them to our last meeting, but I agreed that I would pass these out. Project Peace was hoping to get as many people as possible to do an individual personal Arlington community pledge. So I'm going to pass these out and ask you to take one and glance at it. And they are very interested in having, particularly a group like us, all sign up to pledge our support. And if you all are willing to do that and sign that, they'll take a picture of them and add that to their materials, but we can also comment on the fact that we are all pledged. Did you pledge that night?
I did, and they don't want them back. They want you to keep them and like post a picture with it.
Okay.
Because I tried to give them back to her and she was like, no, you keep it so
Okay.
you know what to do.
All right. But I promised we would take a
Yes.
picture of
Yeah.
everyone who signed up here and send her that picture so she could advertise that.
Yes, absolutely.
Is that a pledge to support the financial as well?
No, it's not financial.
Okay.
It's, if you glance at the card, you're pledging consent and respect, active bystander, leadership, advocacy. That's the Arlington Community Pledge. So very quickly, I pledge to ask for consent in all my relationships and respect each individual's boundaries. I will support survivors of sexual and interpersonal violence, ensuring they feel safe to report and seek help. I pledge to be an active bystander in potentially dangerous situations. I will intervene when necessary and promote a culture where sexual assault is unacceptable and survivors are supported. I pledge to be a leader in both my words and actions, advocating for a culture of respect and safety. I will educate myself and others and work to prevent a culture of violence in my community.
So Barbara put in the chat, I may be willing to commit to the Project Peace. Let me check.
Great. Thank you. Okay. And on the back are some resources. If you need help in knowing what to say or what to do next, those are the resources you would do. But if we could get as many people as are willing to take the pledge tonight, fill out your card before we leave tonight, we'll take a group photo. Somebody who's good at photography can take a group photo for us, and Janine has a photography business. So can take a photo for us and we can send it over to her. Okay. Thank you all. Excellent. Legislative priorities, since I did not have time to read that, you're going to have to read that. I'm sorry.
One more thing. Takas reached out, making the formal request for legislative priorities. He said that in order to organize the feedback and develop the legislative packages, they had sort of a template they wanted us to use that was attached, but it wasn't attached. I replied to him and the point of contact asking for the templates. I thought that would actually be helpful. So to be continued on that one, but it's the way it's described as top 3 priority kind of areas. And then if there's additional background information, I'm going to use the word studies, but the case maybe for the issue or even draft legislation or actual bill check and that sort of thing. So include the attachment, I'll send that out as soon as I receive it from him.
You just got the request or the update this week though, right? From him? Is that correct? It's usual, we did not get a lot of time.
And we got it this month,
Oh, we did. Okay.
during the month of July.
Okay. For those who are not familiar with the process, the county board requests every advisory group and commission request. It gives us the opportunity to submit to the county board what we think the top 3 legislative priorities should be that they would submit to the state. We always have a couple of people who are interested in legislative priorities and policies agree to pull together what it is we will submit. For as long as I've been on the commission, I don't think we've ever had more than one meeting to pull this together. Somehow the timing just always seems to be off. Although there have been years where we've had one of our state legislators come talk to us, like Barbara Fagola, about what are the things that they'd like to see the county submit. It's one of those, all the counties get to submit and then the state legislature will decide what they're going to prioritize. So we get to submit to the county board what we would like them to prioritize. There is anybody who is willing to work on that between now and the due date, which is in August.
Yeah. Maybe I caveat that, his email, and I'll forward the text where you can read specifics, but he says if there's specific bill or legislative text that needs to be worked on or drafting of new legislation, they want those proposals by August 15th, but that any priorities or other sort of general areas that we want to focus on, those conversations, comments, and contributions can continue through September and into the fall. So the August 15th isn't a hard and fast deadline for everything. So we can give ourselves, I think we may receive feedback even through conversations with folks at the fair, that unless we're proposing new text or new bill sort of language, that would take extra effort that I think we have through September.
If there's anybody who keeps up with what legislation is in front of the state delegation anyway, and this is, you know, you just find this interesting, you would be a great volunteer to have pouring through.
Dr. Jamie just put in the chat, I'm interested.
Well, we'd love to have you, Dr. Jamie. That would be wonderful.
Didn't people sign up to do this at our retreat?
Yes, one of
I
them.
was assigned to this.
Oh,
I was assigned to this, and I am somewhat interested in this. But I was gonna connect with you guys after. Is it due by August 15th? Or like, I guess, I'm happy to help. I'm happy to help, but I will note, I'm actually in policy school, and unfortunately, there's a required class on Thursday nights in the fall that I'm trying to get out of. But it's possible I'm gonna have to take a step back. But if this is due before that September date, I'd be happy to help. And I was gonna chat with you guys about that after. It's not for sure yet. I'm still hoping maybe they'll let me take the afternoon class instead of the Thursday required one, but I am in policy school, so I am interested in this stuff, and I'm happy to help as we see how that all plays out.
So based on what Caroline just said, if it's about bills that exist that weren't approved last year that we want to edit text or suggest a change or something like that, that's got to be in by August 15th. So
I'm not planning to write a bill unless someone's like,
no. I'm just
Yeah,
saying if
yeah.
you want to review what's out there
yeah, okay.
and decide is there something that we should be reacting to or suggesting an edit of text, that's got to be in by August 15th anyway. And it sounds like Dr. Jamie Beasley might be interested in helping you. So somehow you all need to exchange.
And Helen just wrote, I would like to be involved as well.
Okay.
As a volunteer.
So you will be our lead,
Sean.
Grace, you will be our lead because
Okay,
we need somebody from the commission leading this effort.
okay.
And I think last year, Lisa, you had expressed some interest.
Yeah,
Okay.
policy coverage.
So the two of you could maybe
Together,
coordinate
yeah.
and figure out how to get this done together so that we get the August 15th portion done.
Okay.
Then what I heard Caroline say was, if there's something that is not necessarily a bill, but dialogue that we want the county board to have or share with our legislators at the state level, we can have a little more time for that. So it could come back to the September meeting, maybe as a draft document we would send to them. So it's like a part one, part two. Part one's due August 15th. Part two would be, can we use the September meeting? Part two would be the September meeting for the total commission to review whatever it is you're recommending that we send to the county board for their consideration.
And
So
Andre,
both kind of have the impact of being before your class kicks off. Grace.
Yes, amazing. Can you just remind me the rules on, like, can I email them? Or can you remind me
Email
the
who?
rules?
Oh.
If I want to connect with Lisa, sounds like Arbor put in the chat, Helen put in the chat, Dr. Beasley put in the chat. What are the rules? Can you just remind me on if I can like
it
email
can't-
all of them?
like two or more, you can't talk about business. So maybe you
Okay.
have to be like individual.
Okay, okay,
Arbor just wrote, I can help, but prefer not to be lead.
got it. Noted.
And you
Lisa
do
and I
want
are
to
gonna
pick
co-lead.
Arbor's, you do want to pick Arbor's brain, because I happen to know every time this subject comes up, Arbor can tell you almost off the top of her head what bills are sitting where in the state legislature. So I would connect with her. If I could, I will, before we leave, give you a little couple of tips and hints about how best to work.
Great.
Amazing. Right. And along those lines too, I will, hopefully I can do it from my phone. I have a CSW folder. I think I've shared, I think with most, I know Janine, maybe I'll write back, but I'll open it up. There should be a subfolder for legislative priorities. I can't guarantee that everything in there is a final document, but that's a place where things have been done. So there should be, you can see what we've done in years past.
Okay.
When I get the template from Docus for what they want specifically for the cover page and whatnot, I'll add that there as well. So folks have access to it. And, you know, a shared doc like that is a good place to.
Sounds great.
So by our September meeting, are we bringing like a draft letter to send, or are we just coming with our ideas of what we want the priorities to be?
So by August 15th, something has to go back to the county board if it's related to a bill. So that would be something you'd want to send to Caroline by August 15th for review and edit and sending in.
If you want
An
to,
existing bill.
I think the distinction that they're making is that if there's something we want to support that's existing, already has a patron, that's fine from September. If it's something that's gonna need draft legislation, patron, and extra work, that they need to know that by August 15th. I think most of what we'd be looking at wouldn't be brand new stuff. So I think we probably have for September, but don't wait until September. Fair?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Arbra. I'll just say that because we've had this governor, I'll try to keep this nonpartisan, but because we've had this governor who's vetoed a lot of proactive bills about things like family medical leave or reproductive health care, there's a lot of stuff out there that just needs to be pushed back through the legislature. So I think most of the stuff, like you just said, Caroline, will be the earlier deadline. And what I usually do is just find a few of the legislators, including our own Senator Barbara Favola, who is very proactive about these kinds of bills, and read back through the ones that made it almost to the finish line, but were either vetoed or something like that.
Dr. Jamie provided a link in the chat. You want me to share that with the commissioners?
Yes, please.
Sure. Yeah. It's I just did so I'm still familiarizing myself with Virginia laws because, like I said, I came from Georgia. So I just did a quick Google search to see kind of who's already kind of doing some of this work, and I found this organization. I'm not sure. Like I said, I just Google searched it, but a good place to start for the people who are going to start working on this. Like I said, I'm not sure, how far along all the research is on this particular website, but I think it's a good place to start. Like I said, for everyone who's gonna, try to gather together this document. So just my thought, just initial thoughts, listening to the conversation is to start there.
And I'm sorry, thank you. And just to clarify, Arbra, are you saying that those bills that almost made it to the finish line and didn't quite make it, those would be examples of bills that are probably already have sponsors and patrons? I was a little confused because I thought you said that would be due by the August 15th.
Yeah, I heard the same thing.
Yeah, those are the ones that are due earlier, right, Caroline? The ones that already
No.
exist.
No, I think those are the ones that already have all the legwork done, and it's our recommendation would be to reintroduce and support those. They don't require legislative drafting or new patrons. Most likely they already have existing support. And
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So
sorry, I said it wrong.
no worries. I
I'm,
was just confirming because you know so much, you clearly know so much about this. So just confirming.
No, everyone's giving me way too much credit. All I've done is taken stuff from Senator Barbara Favola, and who's the other woman? Senator Jennifer Boysko. They always have a bunch of really, they send out newsletters that list everything they've done, or you can just go on the website. So anyway, but yeah, I'm happy to help. And okay, so most of it doesn't need to be done till September. So
Sounds good. Need some notes.
Okay. Anything else on legislative priorities? We have two leads, Grace and Lisa. Arbor is also going to help, and we have some volunteers willing to work, both Helen and Dr. Jamie Beasley. Helen, I believe we have your contact email. Is that correct, Courtney?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Do we have Helen's contact email?
Yes.
Okay, Dr. Jamie Beasley, I'm sorry to keep saying that. Jamie, can we have your email so we can reach out? Oh, she just sent it to Courtney.
Yes,
Okay.
I sent it. My email and my cell phone number.
I got it. Thank
Great,
you.
thank you. Well, Courtney will make sure that Grace and Lisa get that.
Great.
Okay, let's see if there's anything else. Jinder wanted to talk a little bit about county fair and what we need to do. Jinder, take it away.
You would just love you guys to respond and let us know when you can volunteer. I did send out a chart, August 15, 16, 17. There are some slots. So if you could just respond to that, that would be great. And then I know we're meeting next week. We can talk a little bit more about finalizing some of the logistics, including all the supplies that we need. Caroline, thanks for sending me that access to the folder. I'll try to update sort of the packet that we can have on hand, which would be helpful for some of the newer individuals to the commission.
Jinder, can you, I think I gave you edit access, so will you make a copy of that existing document and then make a new one, like instead of editing the old one, so that we have a snapshot in time of what we did last? Thank you. I will not be in town for that meeting next week. We're going to Williamsburg, 17th, right? Yeah, okay, I won't be here. So as far as, I think you guys know my line on this, as far as supplies, the VA products giveaways, any of the things we need, physical materials, I can prepare those, the screen. I haven't committed to doing the actual display that we will project on the screen. I don't know if we've decided that yet. So just, I guess I'm pre-volunteering for any of that stuff, the candy, the stickers, all the sort of setup. So just assume that I can cover that, so don't fret over it when I'm not there. If you guys can focus on getting our content messaging, survey questions, and kind of the wording and stuff down, the communication pieces, I think the rest will come together before.
2 questions. One, we have talked, Caroline, about updating our rack card, so we have it to give away. I don't remember who had the action item to actually look at the rack card. We can either stick with what's on it and just get more made, but I think we don't have enough stock to give out at the county fair table. So if somebody remembers volunteering to update the rack card, that's great. If not, can we just talk about who's going to get more printed?
I recall me and Janine both saying, oh yeah, we can do a brand kit and rebranding in Canva. And then both of us running to our corners because, anyway.
You got busy.
Okay, sure.
That happens.
I think for this year, we should just update what we have, or like, not.
Just reprint what we have.
Yeah, and then we can.
Can you get the one we have reprinted?
Sure can.
Thank you. Okay, so that's done. The second thing is, I just want to make sure everybody is clear. What we decide to present at the county fair will be decided by the group that's meeting at the special meeting next week. So if you have a burning desire to either get something added or to make sure we don't do something, you need to come to that meeting. That's why we put that meeting on the agenda. So, and it's been announced and official. So that's a working session. If you've got an interest in what we will be doing at county fair, please make sure you attend. And third thing, this is just really small, and I'm going to bring it up next week, and I have the documents. For the Arbor will appreciate this, though, because I thought of her when I learned it. I had an opportunity to be at the Greater DC Diaper Bank, which I did not even know existed, and I learned about diaper insecurity. And I have some of their materials for us to table display as well. But it's really critical, and you don't really think from a diaper insecurity perspective about how that impacts a woman's ability to participate in work life and all kinds of other things. But they're a phenomenal organization. So I just thought I'd throw that out there.
Thank you. How did you hear about them?
They were up for a board leadership award at the Center for Nonprofit Advancement. And I think they're a finalist, but don't quote me because I'm probably not supposed to release that if you didn't take it. But anyway, so we were doing that site visit.
Mom's the one.
Go Marguerite. They also provide menstrual supplies, I'm pretty
Yes,
sure.
they do. That's how we got into the
Yes,
conversation when they were giving us the tour, and I went off topic, and the executive director and I just went, and everybody else is just standing there looking at us, and I said, I'm sorry, but so I talked about us giving away the period products and some of the stories from the county fair, and that's how I got into the tabling and asked them if they had stuff, literature that we could display on their behalf. But there could be some opportunity to do things together. They would love to see more. They are connected with some people doing things in Northern Virginia and Arlington, but not enough. So they have more people who have responded in DC and Montgomery County. But in any event, okay.
All right. Awesome.
Okay. Anything else that we should be talking about this evening? Okay. Do we want to take the picture before we adjourn or after we adjourn?
After.
Okay.
Look very good.
If there's nothing else, then we're going to adjourn the meeting. Time is.
Thank
Thanks to all
you.
of you who participated as volunteers. We appreciate
See
it.
you all next week.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.